Good morning, Back to Basics. It's Dana, Miss Danadress. Long time no see. How are you? This week we are talking about support, the ups and downs of support, and our experiences, our thoughts and experience about support. And the interesting nugget of question that hopefully I'll get to is how do you turn a bad experience around? So I know that I'm a blogger for the end of the week. I just want to let you guys know I try not to listen to the other videos from the vloggers on a topic typically, just to be clear about what my thoughts are. And so sometimes that means that you're going to hear something that's really repetitive what someone else has said, because we just happen to be aligned in thoughts. And sometimes you're going to hear something that's different because my thoughts are different than other people's on the channel. So support. We all talk about support in our weight loss surgery journey, but in reality we need support throughout our lives. As I was thinking through this today, I think that you have to think about support in really there are different kinds of support and different roles that you get, and then in reality we likely need a team. So pardon the sports analogy, because I'm actually not even a big sports person, but here you go. I think our support team needs to be like other team sports. We need a coach. We need an expert who can help guide us through the tactical rules of the game and help motivate us, hopefully, and also keep us within the boundaries of those rules. That kind of support, to me, typically comes from your clinical team. So from your surgeon, through your psychiatric team, maybe your counselor or your psychologist or whatever, if you're in therapy, through your nutritionist, through any other folks that you see in relation to your journey. And that is, for me, one reason that when I was shopping, I wanted to have a good program. My insurance required me to go to a center of excellence, but B, I don't know that even if not, that I would have gone to a surgeon that did not have a robust kind of program. And that's not just before surgery, as you're learning, but it's after surgery, and I think it needs to be support that could be available to you for the rest of your life if needed. I'm almost 2 years out. Next week I have my 2-year checkup. My program asks that we make a commitment to come back every 6 months for life, where we get our labs checked and we check in with them. And it's typically a quick appointment if things are going well. But it is, it's money, but it is a way to help me get the coach involved. And my commitment is to try to do that as much as possible. You also need, I think, mentors. Somebody who's played the game before and can help you by teaching you some of the nitty-gritty details that sometimes the coach won't get to. And to me, that is typically people who have are ahead of me in the journey. Not always, but ahead of me in the journey. And that is, for me, a few key people in the YouTube and Facebook community. I wish that I had found a mentor that was in my hometown through like the support groups at my hospital program, my bariatric program. But I never connected really on a deep level with someone locally, because to me a mentor's role is sometimes to help you be accountable. And I think this is where the challenge comes in using the broad virtual community in Facebook and YouTube. And I'm going to come back to that. So, but mentor is one role. Somebody you look up to, somebody who can help you learn the ropes and also say, don't go there, and hold you accountable. In the business world, there's also this thing they call a sponsor now. And I think even in AA, right, they have sponsors. And the sponsor role, I don't understand it exactly. But in the business role, I'm hearing more not just about mentors, but sponsors. Someone who's a level or two above you who can help kind of clear the path and take you under your wing. And that you have some shared kind of mutual, what's in this for me. I think there's a role in that in support as well. Then there are your peers on the team. Players, other players like you. And some of those players can be mentors, and some of those people are friendly competitors, and some of them are cheerleaders to each other. But they're living the same experience as much as they can, bringing different skills, different knowledges, different abilities to the team. But you're going through it together, and you can learn some things and get some encouragement from each other. This is where I think we have some problems. Number one, because as we're peers, and all of our experiences are a little bit different, what works for one person doesn't always work for the other. And they want to help you, but sometimes they also want to scold you. I'm going to go back to my post-stress trauma on the playing fields of elementary and junior high school, when anytime I tried to do team sports. And in general, it was a horrible experience for me. And the reason it was is because the peers on the team were not very nice when I screwed up. And I didn't have a close personal relationship with them. I didn't consider them as mentors. In some instances, I didn't see myself at all like them. And they were trying to give me unsolicited advice or sometimes unsolicited criticism of what I was doing wrong and how I was spoiling it for the rest of them. Now, in the bariatric community, we don't really get how I'm spoiling it for the rest of them. But I do think in some of the groups, and I especially see this on Facebook, you see it a little bit on YouTube. I've never personally experienced it on Facebook, but I really see it in Facebook, is where peers are saying things that come across as being not constructive, and where people get offended. Part of that is because we don't have a lot of skill in what we put in writing sometimes. Part of that is that person isn't really asking you for true feedback. And part of that is, I don't know, just the dynamics of you don't know people and you say things or you interpret things differently on people that you don't truly know. Then there's the support that's a cheerleader. If you think about the cheerleaders on the sideline, the cheerleaders are always there to say, go team, go, you're doing great, even when you're struggling. Cheerleaders don't really hold us accountable. I think a lot of Facebook and YouTube people serve as cheerleaders, and that's great. There's a role for the cheerleaders. But when you really think about support, the kind of true, meaningful support that you need, that I need, okay, I'll speak for me. I got to have a mix. I can't have just that cheerleader who's rah, you can do this if I'm doing the things that are destructive to me. I need to have someone who's going to help me, hold me accountable. And the way, though, that I need someone to hold me accountable is to say, Dana, you told me you wanted X, and the things that I see you doing are not in alignment with what you're telling me you want. So there's either you're not being honest about what you want, and the sacrifices or the behavior changes that you're willing to put in action to get what you want, or you are telling me the right thing and you're not behaving in the way that is in line with that. And at some point in time, that person, I may want them to help me problem solve and say, okay, will you help me? Yes, I want to be, I really do want this behavior, and here's what I need from you. It may just be to listen. It may be to problem solve. It may be to kick me in the butt. But really, I have to, as a person who wants and needs support, in order to not have feelings hurt, I have to articulate what I want from that person, and or that person has to ask me what I want. What happens, I think, and where people get their feelings hurt about, quote, support, is that there were different expectations of what was meant by support. And I also think that sometimes we have to have a support divorce, which means if you asked me to be in your support circle, either explicitly or implicitly, and you said you wanted me to help you be accountable, and you continue to be self-destructive in your behavior, and we've had discussions about your values and your alignment and what you really want, and I've tried to do all the things to help you. Sometimes I have to pull myself as a support person and say, I can't be in this relationship anymore because you're being self-destructive, and for me to just be a cheerleader is enabling you. And for me to be honest and open, and you not to continue to take my feedback, doesn't feel very good to me as a supporter. So maybe we have to renegotiate our roles. Maybe we don't divorce, maybe we just renegotiate our roles. As a person receiving support, I have to be able to articulate that as well. So Facebook, YouTube, a lot of the problems with these is that we have a broad circle, and a lot of those are cheerleader groups. And when people are feeling like they need to, or they want to add more direct, I'm going to say criticism, or points of what people should be doing differently. A, it's usually because the person didn't solicit it. That wasn't the role they were asking of that group. Or B, the person, may have not done it in the most tactful way possible. So I'm about at 15, and I'm going to not be able to upload this here. I hope this was helpful. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.